Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources with the hashtag How I Got Custody. So you've been alienated from your kid or kids for a while, and then the court is ordering reunification therapy because of the gap in time when kids already have the bond with you. And we drop kick children into daycare, school. The courthouse will drop kick children, rip them out of a home, and put them in a foster care home with total strangers to live with. But the biological parent they already have a bond with, they need to get used to getting back into their life. That stuff is bullcrap. And then you have, I just talked to a guy earlier. He's in kind of a predicament like that. And then he has a reunification therapist or a counselor with recommendations of gradual reintroduction. And the mom is saying that the child is traumatized by the dad and the child is struggling and all this other stuff. What's the number one contributing factor to a child having mental disorders and struggling in life and emotional disorders? The absence of a father. The father is the number one predictor of how well a child turns out. And so you're taking the father out and inflicting all this harm on the kid, and you're saying, look, the child is being harmed by the father, so we need to push the father further out. How are you guys not picking up on this and arguing it in court? The only reason you wouldn't argue how illogical and dumb and insane these people are is because you're a pussy. Stop being that. Go in there and use common sense God gave a monkey and say, look, the cure. What's the cure for your child, all your child's problems? Love from the father that's being pushed out, or the alienated mother. That's the cure. And everybody's like, let's wait till the right moment until the child's behavior changes and the child gets better and the child feels better and the child expresses this. Meanwhile, the other parent is coaching the child or triggering the child or making the child, I guess, having the child being triggered and come to a visit. Oh, the child is too triggered and traumatized by the father's presence or scared or nervous or whatever. So we can't let the child go with the father. And the whole root of the problem is the child is missing out on a father. The cure is the presence of the father. And everybody's like, well, let's try this solution. Let's try this outside solution. Let's try this. That's kind of like if you are fat and you eat cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Well, let's give you this vitamin over here. Let's give you this exercise regimen over here. Let's have you go get some sun and fresh air over here. Let's have you do meditation over here. The root problem is what's going on inside the circle. You are absent of real food and you're eating a bunch of junk food and you're and your calorie to exercise, if you're getting exercise, your calorie to exercise ratio is screwed up. You have to fix the root of the problem right here in the middle. So the child has a circle around him. Therapy here, reunification this, analysis this, report here. Oh, the child is triggered, or the child isn't perfectly whole, wonderfully healthy in a happy state while he's being starved of a father. So let's keep starving him. Or let's say you're malnutritioned and you're being starved. You're like, man, you're skinny. Let's go to the gym and lift weights. Man, you look anorexic in skin and bones. Let's do some meditation. Man, you look unhealthy. Let's go get you a facial at the spa. Man, you look sickly. I need to get some, if I'm sickly and anorexic, I need to get some food in me. I'm missing food. And these guys are talking about all these things in this circle around me when I need to get food in my circle and food in my belly. The child needs to get fatherly love in their heart and in their mind and in their spirit. That's the cure. And everybody's dancing around with all these other things. And your dumbass is sitting there hopping to every time somebody says hop, skip, and jump, you do it. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir. Hop, skip, and jump. And you're jumping around in a circle doing a whole bunch of nothing. Why don't you stand up for yourself and stand up for your kid? Why don't you write a report and say the therapist is full of crap? The number one greatest predictor of how well a child turns out in life is whether the father is intimately involved. The child is having emotional struggles in school. The mother might say, oh, the child's flunking in school and doing poorly in school ever since we started this divorce case because the father's triggering him because the father, threatens the kid. The child is traumatized from the divorce, from the custody battle, from the modification. There's case law in Washington State that says court action is bad for kids. They feel the sense of the courts recognize it. So what they use for that is like men shouldn't be able to go back and modify that often and try and go for custody or whatever because they disturb harass the custodial parent, the mothers, and it's traumatizing to the kids for you to modify. So they make every excuse for a dad not to modify and increase his rights. But it's true to a point. Kids don't need to be in the middle of that. They don't need to be examined like a lab rat by a reunification therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, a guardian ad litem, a social worker, and all these weirdos. And by the way, whoever's investigating your case and writing a report, do you know what their resume says, what their education is, what their degree is, what their experience is? You should know that. You should know that the first week. In Washington State, we have a law that says you have a right to ask for the CV or the resume of a guardian ad litem evaluator and a background check. You have an automatic right to do that. Why are you not doing this stuff? It's because you're sitting here being a little punked little biatch and letting everybody push you around. You are a puppet and everybody's a puppeteer, or you're a pinball and you're bouncing off everybody and you're hoping the process fixes everything. You know what the process does? The process puts innocent people in prison. We have a constitution in this country to defend against the process. And we're supposed to have due process if we're accused of a crime or a constitutional right is being taken away from us or a freedom. You have a constitutional right to the care and custody of your kids under Troxel versus Granville. I didn't even have to have anybody tell me this. When I went to court and the mother, I did a contempt motion against the mother. She responded. I replied. The guardian ad litem recommended the mother not be found in contempt. I attacked the guardian ad litem report. Then we went to court for another matter. I attacked the guardian ad litem report. Then when we went back and the mother tried to modify a couple years later, I attacked every guardian ad litem report. And every time somebody said something about me, I countered it and picked it apart and showed how it was stupid and lying full of crap. Why the hell are you not standing up for yourself? What do you think court is? You think you're so brainwashed. You think court is a laboratory and you're a rat and you just sit there and lay there and let them experiment on you and poke and prod and do whatever they want and then charge you for it. Stop being a dumbass and a bitch and a pussy and stand up for yourself. If somebody can come into court and attack you, you can attack them. You have a constitutional right to confront your accusers. You have a constitutional right to be fully heard on your side of the story. You guys are such bitches sometimes. You think the guardian ad litem gets to talk, the parenting evaluator gets to talk, the mother's attorney gets to talk, and they all get to lie about you, and then you can't say anything. You're just hoping by osmosis the judge reads your mind and finds out the truth and who's telling the truth. Wake the frick up out of your stupor. You're in a war. You're in a competition. When you're in a boxing match, you just stand there with your arms down and let the other person punch you. That's what you're doing, being a bitch. You see why I talk like this? Because I keep talking to people over and over and over and over and over again, and you're going to a court of law, and we've all seen Law and Order, or we've all seen a movie like A Few Good Men, or JFK, or A Time to Kill, or any kind of legal movie. My Cousin Vinny, when somebody's on the stand, one attorney comes up and questions, the other attorney attacks them or cross-examines them. It's a competition where there's competing ideas and testimonies. But you lay there like a dead zombie and you let everybody walk over you and you don't stand up for yourself and don't say anything. Why? Oh, because it might hurt their feelings and I'm supposed to look good and be good and be on my best behavior. You're supposed to expose the truth, dumbass. And you're so caught up in political correct pussification of men that you just go in there and think that if I act like a pussy, everybody will love me. And while everybody's lying and bringing all this false evidence against me and piling it up and up and up, if I just stay silent, the truth will come out. The truth has to come out of your mouth, you dumb pussy. Stop being a pussy.